Hare Krishna. Here is a very interesting and a very beautiful story. It's a small story, but it's a very profound story that I would like to share with all of you. One time, there was two great souls, and these two were one of the most powerful alvars of the Sri Sampradaya. So, both these alvars apparently traveled to the same place on the same day without any plan, without a plan that they will be traveling. So both of them came from two different areas and they came to the exact same village on the exact same day. And the day they appeared, that day was extremely heavy rain. And the rain was so intense that they had to run somewhere to take shelter of that rain. Both of them apparently, they ran to the exact same hut to take shelter. In that hut was a great sage living there. And when both of them knocked on the hut at the same, just few minutes, one after another. The hut was so small that only one person could sleep in that hut. And the sage was sleeping. It was late in the night, it was raining heavily, and the sage was sleeping inside the hut. One devotee knocked this door, one of the alvars, and the sage opened the door and he saw this, very exalted looking person drenched in the rain seeking shelter. So the sage called him in and both of them sat together. There was no place for both of them to lie down. So both of them sat together. There was only that much space for two people to sit. And then suddenly they heard a third knock. And they saw in that, outside there was a third person who was another great alvar who was also seeking shelter, drenched completely, heavy rains. So they allowed him to come. Now, the three of them were standing together. Now they could not lie down, obviously. There was no place for all three of them to sit also. And the three of them were standing together. As the three of them were standing together, suddenly they felt a fourth person in that house. And the fourth person being in that house made it so cramped that they all had to hug each other, literally. And suddenly they were thinking, who is this fourth person whom we are not able to see? Because it was pitch dark. There was no light in the room. There was no light in the entire place. And they were wondering, who is this fourth person? And suddenly, all three of them realized that the fourth person in that house, who was not invited, who didn't knock the door, who just appeared there without, in any invitation, was the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord was hugging all the three of them, giving them warmth and giving them affection. And he was so happy to see the spirit of these three great souls, see the spirit of unity of these three great souls, and see the spirit of how these great souls are, for the sake of one another, for the sake of serving one another and helping one another, ready to go through many inconveniences, tolerating inconveniences, and allowing the other two to come in. So the Supreme Lord was so happy that he manifested inside that house. One of the names of the Supreme Lord, he is known as Sangraha, because the word Sangraha means the one who is easily reached by his servants. And the word Sangraha means the one who mixes with his devotees very easily. So look at this beautiful scene over here. Here are three devotees who are struggling for space. One devotee, he was comfortably sleeping. He adjusted and allowed a second devotee to come in. And then they adjusted and allowed a third devotee to come in. And when the Supreme Lord saw these three devotees adjusting with each other, allowing each other, somehow the other dealing, tolerating each other, the Supreme Lord felt so happy that he manifested there personally. And the Supreme Lord, he manifested there and he hugged all of them. One of the things that really makes Krishna happy is when devotees are united together. When devotees go out of the way to serve one another, even taking great inconveniences for one another. When the Lord sees that two devotees are going out of the way to take inconveniences for one another, to serve one another, going out of the way to serve one another and take care of one another, the Supreme Lord appears in that association. And therefore, because he appears in that Sangha, he is called Sangraha, the one who really mixes easily with his devotees. And such a Supreme Lord, such a person who is known as Sangraha, he feels greatest joy in that Sangha where devotees are going out of the way to take care and serve one another. So let us all meditate on this beautiful name of the Supreme Lord and this beautiful story that we shared. And let us all try to create a Sangha in which the Supreme Lord can manifest. Create a Sangha in which we are ready to go through inconveniences for the pleasure of the Lord and inconveniences for taking care and serving one another. And in that Sangha, the Supreme Lord will definitely manifest. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.